When the things go harder, we go stronger than no matter. Yeah, we go smack 'em and
yeah, welcome right back here to Ghana Talks Radio. It's 33 minutes past 2 p.m. right here in Ghana. And it's time for the Cubicle with me, Lansah Haruna. So we are streaming live from Anya, the Greater Accra region. We are also live on our website at www.ghanatalksradio.com. And then also on YouTube and on Facebook at Ghana Talks Radio. You can join our conversation live from wherever you are across the globe.
I go get money to build out for mama.
We are back again with another hustle. We are going again hard at 8. That is what this particular program, this show is all about. The conversation that will put us in a situation where we can go hard at whatever we are trying to pursue or achieve in our lives. On the Cubicle, we have the conversations that matter, that are relevant to you, to me, and to everyone else. So from wherever you are tuning in and you're streaming from across the globe, I want to welcome you to the Cubicle. We are starting on a very sad or unfortunate note.
Brother, know the quiver, we go smack up like Undertaker. When the things go harder.
I'll just discuss it before I mention my topic and then my guest for the day. So reports coming from Turkey, far away in Turkey, say that Black Stars forward Christian Owusu is missing. Is missing in a rubble following a powerful earthquake in the country. Christian Owusu is reportedly among 1,000 people, more than 1,000 people who are currently missing and are stuck under piles and piles of sand and stone of buildings broken down by the earthquake. I remember Owusu plays for Hitaspor in Turkey. And this particular sad news is gaining some steam online. So we are sending our prayers out there to you, senior most Christian Owusu, wherever you are. I'm sending you strength and prayers that you stay tight, you stay strong. By the glory of God, you will survive. It's actually very painful to know that one of your brothers is out there. He's stuck in a very messy situation. And by the grace of God, pray that you, wherever you are, will find the strength to survive. And everybody else who is suffering that particular situation right now in Turkey, we send our prayers and our strength to you.
We go smack 'em and
more details on the story is live on our website at ghanatalksradio.com. Continuing our show today, we are looking at a very a forgotten aspect of our discussion, and that is the youth in Ghana and our Ghanaian culture. Our Ghanaian culture is steadily losing its grip on us young people, from our language, our dress, our food, our music, our dance, our religion, everything is no longer purely original Ghanaian. Despite the fact that we are in a global world, a globalized village, there's a need for each and every one of us to preserve our own culture. What is the situation we have here in Ghana? Are we losing our culture as young people in Ghana?
Stronger than no man.
What are the effects of that particular situation?
We go smack 'em and that.
And how can we remedy it?
Here we go.
This and more we discuss here live on the Cubicle, live on Ghana Talks Radio, live on at Ghana Talks Radio on YouTube and on Facebook and our website. With me, Lansah Haruna. So to you listen to me out there, do you think that we are losing our culture, and how will it affect us now and in the future? Let me know what you think in our live chat on YouTube and on Facebook. I'll take a very short break at this point. I want to come back and introduce my guest for today. And then we start the conversation live on the Cape Coast. Stay and stay. We'll be right back after the short break.
Hello Ghana, hello worldwide, and I'm with the level band. Now listen, every Tuesday and Friday, beyond the time it's going to carry Braille, our Ghana Talks Radio, 7 p.m. sharp. Now Tuesday, we're going to talk about our culture, our history. Matuni ding se tete abako sem. Now on the Friday, you bars on bars. You better rap, you better say it. No artists go join me in the studio. We're going to discuss about music and business. Konya, or you singer, and now you rapper, you think say you get bars. You go be spit fire. Now listen, make you join me with studios. Our Ghana Talks Radio, and yes, say in our day. Me say download the Ghana Talks Radio app, no, our Play Store, any App Store. No tune in, and say this is what I say. Baba live on Facebook, Cointakra, any Ghana Talks Radio page, and so now listen. Ebe your fire, 1 year, Konya, Wading, Jajai.
So welcome right back here to the Cubicle. Like I said, we're discussing the Ghanaian culture. We are fast losing our culture as Ghanaians. You know, Ghana is a group of people with diverse customs, traditions, beliefs, value systems. But all in all, we are one nation. We are one African nation called Ghana. So we have shared values. We have shared customs. We have shared culture, traditions. All of that is innate or is part of our fabric as Ghanaians. Looking at our language, our food, our names, our dresses, our festivals, our dances, our songs, our ceremonies, our rituals, our heritages, our ancestors, is all part of the culture, right? But today, 2023, it looks like if you go out and ask the ordinary young man, what will be your name? You tell his name is Samuel Elizabeth. Like, you don't even know where it is coming from, right? Like, I'm here, my name is Lawrence. I don't know how I got the name Lawrence. You are speaking English. I can't speak Dagbani right now. You see that in most of us don't even know how to speak our languages again. What is happening at all to our Ghanaian culture, and how can we remedy the situation? Well, I'm joined by Selina Owusu, who is a youth development capacity trainer. She has been with me on this show recently, and she's giving us insight. Welcome once again, Selina.
Hi, hi everyone.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Thank you for today to speak on your show again. Today the topic is interesting. It's a lot. There's a positive and negative side as always, but then we would definitely have to delve deeper to understand which side actually resonates with us and then how to address it. So, yeah. I think I'm ready for you.
It's good to have you here. I hope you're okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. What's your own take about this thing? Is it actually true that like we are losing our culture in a way? For you, do you see that happening in our society?
Well, I wouldn't say we are not losing it. Neither will I say we're losing it. So first off, we will have to understand what culture means. From our basic education days, we were taught that culture is a way of life of a group of people. And as we grow up, we come to actually realize that, yes, it's how we behave, how a group of people live together, how they come together to move on with their lives. And that's what actually makes the culture, establish the culture of the people. However, we should also know that as time goes on and we have different people coming together, new people, I mean, whether strangers or the same people but of different generations, when they come together, the culture tends to change a bit. And that's what we call that culture is dynamic. So, yes, we need to put in the fact that the culture is for the people, by the people. It defines the people, but then it's also dynamic at some point.
When you say dynamic, what do you mean? Just because it can change or doesn't mean that it should change to lose its value or existence at all?
Not at all. Not at all.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so I'm going to give you this example. It might not go down well with a lot of people, but that's the best way to get it across. So if we look at colonization, we see the English people colonized us. We that we speak English. And then you have the Francophones. They have it that they were assimilated. So they call it cultural assimilation, not colonization. So they supposedly willingly entered the French culture and adopted it, while we were imposed. The English imposed their culture on us, and then we had to put some of ours away. In fact, at some point, our elders and our ancestors, some had to fight their own brothers because of their beliefs, their own cultural beliefs. It is not. It's not demonizing it or anything. Which at some point, yes, we take it out of context, but we also need to understand that we have new forms of doing things all the time. Yes, I cannot say pouring libation can be done in a different way, but it's new people that will come to do it, and they might at some point infuse particular things that were not originally in there. So that's what I mean by dynamic.
Okay, so as we started, you say it's a way of life. Culture is a way of life, and there are many elements of culture, right? If you look at, I think one of the things that identify us is our names. You are called Owusu. It means you are from Ashanti, right? My name, Lansah, directly points to you where I'm coming from. Enyonam, Esinam, Regina. Regina is from English land. You see that? Selina is from English land. These days, it's so.
Selina is actually Portuguese and German.
You see what I'm saying. So, and it's so much common that these days you don't find a lot of young people in Ghana with local names, or even if they have local names, they are not so proud of it. Like you don't see people calling them by their local names. One, the way we dress, they said, we used to have a way we dress, especially our ladies. Now, if you go out there, we are all from like Chicago or New York. We dress like we are from New York. You see that? The food we eat, I don't know. I don't even know traditional food. Like I don't even know. So you see what I'm talking about. So
I get your point. I do. But I mean, we can't have it all perfect. However, research has proved it time and again that it's common for the young ones to reject culture at some point. If you have 10 young people, 5 will automatically reject their culture until they're about middle age. Then they come to recognize that, yes, this is what they stand for. Cultural alienation, it happens in every part of the world. It happens in so many cultures. We've had people rise up against their own cultures that have raised them, their own traditions. I'll talk of the food and then the name part in particular.
Okay.
Me, being Delmina, I chose my grandmother's name, or should I say my grandmother? I'm using my grandmother's name, and she had a bit of a German ancestry.
Okay.
And in honor of her, we thought, why not? Let me use it. But then I kept my father's name, which is the Owusu.
Okay.
And sometimes I will not sit here and lie to you. Sometimes I don't want the Owusu. And then I ask why. Why would you name me Owusu? But then again, when you go, I step out and then I meet other people. You mention your name and they say, "Oh, you're an Ashanti. Nice to meet you." So you meet another person from your background, and it's nice to reconnect. You understand? Yeah. It's not all the time. Names, I think, our forefathers probably after colonization didn't do as good. Some of them actually forced to retain the white man's identity, and it trailed down to us. It got to our parents, our grandparents, who wanted nothing to do with traditional names, who thought it was very demeaning to have traditional names. And if you would realize, the wealthy, the extremely wealthy people, they actually keep their traditional names. If you would realize, most of these people tend to name their children basic traditional names, no foreign English, whatever name. They keep it legit like that. However, if you come down to the low 40-50% of the population, they want to, I don't know what they want to prove, but they keep names that sometimes you wonder how they come up about those names, which is fine. I mean, as far as you're not losing yourself, I think it's fine. Then we talk about food. Uh-huh. Food, well, the world is changing. The rate at which...
What are some of the traditional Ashanti food that you know?
Well, obviously, fufu with not soup and stuff.
Let's remove fufu. Apart from fufu, which one can you mention again?
Benku.
No, we are going.
Benku.
Is Benku not Ghana?
No, Benku is not Ghana.
Because I don't know scientists to be like to like Banku like that, or they like Banku.
Benku, as far as I'm concerned, is an Ashanti meal, not a Ghana meal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you see, I don't even know. Like you see, I don't even know. Apa pransa. What is apa pransa? What was the last time you ate apa pransa?
Apa pransa? That was last year, actually. I attended a party and then I had some.
365 days ago.
Pardon?
365 days ago.
That's what I was going to get to and tell you that, our way of making food, the way we make our food, the way we prepare our meals, our style, and all of that, it takes time. You know that it takes energy. And if I can make Indomie in 10-15 minutes and feel good, why not? Why go on to do Benku, spend 30-45 minutes, an hour making fufu?
Okay.
When I can get Indomie within 15 minutes. You get the point.
I get the point.
And, and also, we have those who claim that they are millennials, so they don't eat things of their forefathers' generation. They eat things of the new world. Yeah. I mean, it's all possible. At some point, some will grow out of it, some do not, which is fine. It keeps the balance. But the main issue is we alienating, we making it look like it's a terrible thing to be traditional, to be grounded in our culture.
It's one of the cases
that is the issue.
It's one of the cases that we are faced with currently, where it's our food. I know, like, as of food, it's not so steep. It's not so like people have moved on our food per se. We still eat some of the basic local foods, the TZ and the fufu and the banku and the stuff. But right now, most of the foods we now eat that give us more problems are the imported food, the one you just mentioned and stuff.
Yes, well,
is that the reason why we should at least like stop and say, Charlie, what if I don't know what a proper answer is in 2023? What shows that my son or my daughter will know it, or my grandchild will know what a proper answer is?
That we cannot take out the part of processed foods or imported goods. It can never be taken out. However, what we can do is to moderate our access to it.
Okay.
So, I think at the moment, our traditional meals are quite expensive compared to processed foods. You want to cook an average meal, let's say banku for 3 people, and go with, I don't know, maybe tilapia or something. It costs a lot.
So let's
Meanwhile, you can use half of that money to prepare indomie, to prepare spaghetti or something, or you can go out to buy it. You don't need to prepare it yourself. You get it.
Okay, let's take a break. Let's take a break at this point. When we come out to ask this, what makes you identify as a Ghanaian, apart from your birth set being done in Ghana? What is that one thing that makes you a Ghanaian? Because as we discuss, we see that the further we move from our culture, our elements of culture, our way of life, the further we are Ghanaians. For me, that's what I think. But maybe you have a different notion about what makes you a Ghanaian and what are the effects of us losing our culture. This and more when we come up from the short break. So stick and stay. We are still live on the Cubicle. We'll be right back after the short break.
Now me because then legendary, your one and only host for Nigerian Rendezvous. I feel like make you join me every Wednesdays and Saturdays from 12 to 1:30 p.m. as I go to summer you with the latest news and gist directly from Obodo, Nigeria. Don't forget to still catch up on all our previous episodes of Nigerian Rendezvous on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Facebook Podcast, and via our website www.GhanaTalksRadio.com, or make it Google carry us for your pocket by downloading our Ghana Talks Radio app via Android, Google Play, and iOS App Store. Make you feel they enjoy our other Sengemenge shows. Follow us on our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio for other interesting stories where they draw from our automat. No talks here, I no tell you. Omo yami, oya jima soon.
Ecstatic made it. Yeah. Nobody feeling that way I'm feeling tonight. Yeah. And I have the hope that things will be alright. Yeah. So we're feeling irate as we hustle all day long. We are hoping, say that one day things go better. Jale, oh, jale, here we go again. When the things go harder, stronger than Omega. Brother, know they quiver, we go smack up like Undertaker. When the things go harder, we go stronger than Omega. Yeah, oh, we go smack up Undertaker. Jale, oh, jale, here we go again.
So we're welcome right back to the Cubicle Live on Ghana Talks Radio. We are still discussing the Ghanaian culture, the youth and the Ghanaian culture. Is it true that we're losing it, and what are the consequences? Before the break, Selina doesn't want to admit that we are losing it. She's talking about it. We don't have to alienate it, but the culture makes you the Ghanaian. Is that not the case, Selina?
Okay, so what makes me stand out as a Ghanaian, or what makes me
What identifies you as a Ghanaian, if not your culture, a Ghanaian culture? And you say, no, it's good that we can lose our culture. Times are changing, we can't do the things. That doesn't mean that, like, in 50 years, no one's going to be a Ghanaian, no longer pay the customs or practices.
That is very impossible.
Are you sure about that?
I'm very sure. So, even our people in the diaspora are brothers who have traveled and maybe migrated, changed their citizenship and all of that. Deep down, they still believe and account as Ghanaians. You have a lot of people living abroad who still consume Ghanaian meals, consume African meals, just as if they're back here in their home country. So the idea is that in 50 years we will not have any proper Ghanaian. That is not possible.
Do you know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. A lot of our cultural practices, a lot of even our traditional chieftaincy practices are, what do you call it? Step by step, day by day, being diluted with foreign items. So our libation, like we know the libation to be proper gin pan.
Yeah.
This time around, you can the libation you go and using some drink that even if you give that thing you give to Michael Jackson, cry he will take because it's foreign. It's too foreign. You understand? Even the way we speak to our ancestors has changed because we now use more foreign drinks than the akpete that we used to use and the palm wine we used to use. The way our chiefs dress. If not ceremonial function, you don't see our chiefs dressing in there. Most of them don't dress in their traditional attire. They just go and they pick their suits and tie and they are moving, bro. Our language in schools, our Gan, our Chi, our Ewe, our Dagbani and Co. are literally going off in our schools. Today, you go to tertiary institutions, you can't even learn the local language. Those students who choose to learn our local language are very, very small, like 0.4% of the total population. So that means that maybe in a long time, and you also go to our families, the parents beat their children to speak English at home, to learn how to be better English speakers. So what tells you that in the next 30 years, these people also give birth to their children, they're like, okay, don't speak Dagbani unless you go to a family meeting. Like, why won't you lose ours? Yeah.
I will come back to the point I made earlier that cultural alienation, in as much as I don't know if the figure you quoted is a figure from a credible source, but I don't believe that.
This
That's
is
number
assumption.
one.
This is assumption.
Number two, I want to clarify that just a few people that maybe you've come across are pushing their kids to adopt a foreign culture, which is fine, but the majority of them, I'll cite the example of Black Panther. Black Panther that we know of did not start with the movie.
Okay.
It started with a people, even before Martin Luther King. You know, these people came up and decided that they want to connect to their traditional, their ancestry back home. They didn't know where home was. All they knew was that they did not belong in America. And they revolted and came up with the group Black Panther. And that was even before Luther King came around. And when he came, he also propagated it, made it about the black man and his rights and all of that. At some point, a majority of us, or let's say a part of us, the youth, the whoever that we tend to belong, whatever group we tend to belong to, will come up and would want to fight for our traditions, which works every time. It works. I know culture dies off because we've had the Mayans dying off, we've had the Ayans dying off, we've had a whole sector of population, traditional population dying off, which is fine, but it's not this quicker process. It's a gradual thing. I'm not sure we are near that phase.
Well, it
so
looks
maybe,
like we are.
Yes. Please go ahead.
It looks like we are. It looks like we are because we are not at the point where we are like the Ghanaians that were in Ghana before 1957 or before 1844.
But we cannot be the Ghanaians.
The fishing, our fishing has changed. Our farming has changed. Our languages, I mentioned our language, okay, even the way we marry, right? We do even, this time around traditional marriages, even though because now the economy is hard, so people are now doing the traditional marriage more than the church weddings. But that one too was under attack. Our naming ceremonies, you go to a function is they don't even do traditional prayers. It's all about let's do the Muslim prayer and then the Christian prayer. There's no pouring of libation. Have you ever poured libation before? Like no one. I don't know any young person that I've met who has poured libation before.
Well, maybe you haven't attended such programs, but I have.
Not programs. Like even the house, our elders, our grandfather, when they came out, they used to have those small stones, and then they just poured it in and call on their ancestors, and they are moving.
If you're talking about then that's our traditional belief. You're talking about our culture.
It's all part of our way of life. Don't you know? Don't you see that?
Yes, belief falls in there at some point, but it does not define. So what makes Africa Africa, the entire African continent and population, what makes us Africans is this code, the code that we term as religion. Religion in every part of Africa stands. It doesn't matter whether it's traditional, it's Christian, or whatever. It is religion that keeps our culture going. Yes, we pour libation. I'm not saying libation is for just traditional person. I'm saying that it is not dying off. Maybe you're not seeing the right people doing it, or you're not seeing people do it the right way. So I do believe that, yes, there was a time of, let's say, before independence. There was a time after independence. There was the time of the third, fourth, and all of that generations to come after independence. And there will be some more to come, even after our time, who would rise up to fight and defend our culture. I do have faith in our people that they won't let our culture die.
Okay.
At some point, we're going to see a huge, like massive rise in people claiming to be Africans. If you realize, right after 2018, you had a lot of African Americans coming back home.
Yeah.
And Ghana has experienced the majority of those people. You've had a lot of these celebrities, and it doesn't even have to be celebrities. Most of them are coming back home, and they're claiming their ancestry, which is great. It's a good platform for us back home to stand on and then calling onto our brothers to also join in the fight. And I think it's working fine. Maybe it's not showing the fruits yet, but I think we should not compare the little thing we are seeing out there. I don't want to use the term. Uneducated, because most of them, the people you find that are trying to adopt a foreign culture, are those who do not understand their culture.
Is that not what everybody, most of us are now going through? The whites. So the brand, the African brand, is actually growing very massive. The black culture is growing massively. But when when they come back to Ghana, when they come to the Africa, the motherland, they find out that we are just like them.
Of course.
We listen to hip hop, like we listen to their music. We dress the way they dress. We eat the food they eat. We drive the cars they drive.
They adopted
So
all these.
when they come, sometimes when they come, they're like, but I thought Africa, you guys were in cloth and stuff. But how come you're wearing sneakers, you're wearing Jordans, and like you're wearing Boston shirts, and you're in Accra town, like moving around. Like, what shows that we are different? We thought Africa was home. Meanwhile, Africa looks like New York now. You see what I'm saying?
So what you're saying is, you want Africa to go back to living in mud houses.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying.
We riding, I don't know, did we ever have camels here?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there are aspects that we can let go. So, for example, our names, we should not let go. I know people that, for example, I know friends that they have not even one local name in their full names, their full government names. Parents have stopped. Some parents, I think it's not becoming fashionable that even sometimes parents are not naming their children by African names.
That's why I mentioned that. I don't want to use the term uneducated, because you find that those who actually push for that agenda, they are quite, they are quite low on knowledge in this aspect of life. They think adopting a foreign culture makes you superior or something, so their children will be sporting some hideous names, and they think it's like
it's cool,
a great thing. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
But you sit with the most educated person and you dive into the culture and the parts that makes the person stand out. You realize the person is lost. The person has no identity, because I know, and I have come to understand that a name is what defines a person. It defines your character. It defines every part of you. So if I cannot relate or resonate with my name, then I'm definitely not what I am or who I am supposed to be.
You sound very optimistic about the fact that young people can get hold of our culture and then live it in a way that to preserve it for a very long time. I want us to take a break. and come back for you to tell me why are you optimistic that because for me, I don't find us at all like embracing our Ghanaian culture. Like I don't see it in everything, in all the elements. Okay, like even like our traditional puberty rights, none of it they're not existent again. They're very very unpopular now. A lot of it have been banned and made illegal. A whole lot. But you are very optimistic. Let's take a break. When we come, I want to know why are you optimistic. Then we can end on that note. Hope that's okay.
Right. Yes, that's fine.
Okay. So we'll be right back after this short break. We're still live on the Cubicle Live on Ghana Talks Radio. Yeah.
Where do we separate between emotions and reason?
Other don't say we pick the most daring of issues surrounding life, relationships, and family lives.
We speak on the topic most people like to keep to themselves.
With our brilliant panelists, we open the discussions into your love life.
So join us this and every Thursday at 8 p.m. live on Ghana Talks Radio.
Be a part of the conversation, enjoy the excitement, and let's find the answers together.
What's up, people? I go by the name Coin Takra. I'm with the level band. Now listen, time it's Coin Takra every Friday on Ghana Talks Radio, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Someone winning with the dial bet. I got another segment for you guys. Now listen, it's all about the up and coming round table. You be rapper, you the sing, or you feel say you get talent, you get songs. No, listen, send your song and picture via roundtable at GhanaTalksRadio.com or just WhatsApp us on 020-254-4614. Up and coming artist round table. Now listen, every week Biana we go select 10 best artists. Our judges good days studio. Best one. But we never forget the fans and all social media and on our street and so on. Then go vote. Nobody can know. We go invite them for studio and we get surprises for the artists what you see. So last Friday of every month we go invite the first week, second week, third week in your D Kangno. Near the Wama Bus Studio, and we get so many prizes for the soldiers. So up and coming round table. If you be artist, Charlie, just put a song there. You go blow them. One and you corner. Be a mammy at that. Wadding. Jajai.
Ecstatic made it. Yeah. Nobody feeling that way I'm feeling tonight. Yeah. And I have the hope that things will be alright. Yeah. So we're feeling irate as we hustle all day long. We are hoping say that one day things go better. Jale, oh, jale, here we go again.
Yeah, so welcome right back here. On the Cubicle Live on Ghana Talks Radio with me, Lansah Lawrence. I'm still here with Selina Owusu, and we're discussing the youth and Ghana's culture. Are we losing the grip on our culture or the opposite? And Selina seems to be very, very optimistic that now the youth are embracing the Ghanaian African culture. I differ, but there's always space for what different opinions. I want to ask Selina, why is she so optimistic? Selina, welcome back.
Thank you.
To the question, why is so optimistic that everything is cool with us in terms of the youth and our culture, the African culture?
Okay. I'm going to give a very personal example. When I came to Accra, like the first time, and in the house we speak Fanti and Ethiopian. I got to Accra and I realized that the Chi people were speaking were rubbish. Excuse my language, but they claimed to speak Asante Chi, and it was horrible. They mixed the words up. They put some English replacements and all of that.
Some pidgin tree.
The word that I detested the most was oil. How people would tell.
Is it Angwa? Is it Angwa or Angwa? I don't know.
Exactly. I hated to hear that.
Come on, isn't that the right way of calling
it? They call it Angwa. It's not Angwa. It's Angwa.
Oh, It's the same thing.
And anytime I hear it, it's like it frustrates me so much. So
So you know what? In the next 15 minutes, I say 15 years, that one that you have so annoyed, frustrated with or by will change you to something that you don't even it will just vanish off the dictionary.
so
And that's where I'm very very pessimistic. We don't know what is it. If I go and speak Dagbani in some of our elders, they like what I see. Just move away from it. We are not speaking the language.
Exactly. So I made it a point to learn the right sense. I couldn't, in fact, I couldn't say a proverb to save my life. I said, okay, I'm going to learn a proverb one at a time. I'm going to get my friends to start speaking proper Chi whenever I'm around them. Because I got used to English. I got used to, in fact, fancy, I speak it when when my mom forces me to speak fancy. I would just switch back into English and she would just be so upset. So we had a rule in the house. You speak Chi only when you're dressed in Chi. Don't speak back. So if I speak Chi to you, don't respond to me in English. If I speak fancy to you, don't respond back to me in English. Speak what I'm speaking back to you. So respond in the same dialect I'm speaking to you. And that was right after secondary school. I really got interested because I got to hear new words. I got to define new terms. And one thing I came to also realize was that sometimes if you're able to describe how you feel in your own dialect, it feels way better. Like, way better. So that's what I adopted.
Do you know why?
Pardon?
Do you know why?
No, tell me.
It's because you have actually abandoned your language. A whole serious it sounds looks like a point of.
But I did not abandon it. I was not raised with it.
No, if you speak it all the time, if you pray in your language, if you talk to God in your language, if you're angry in your language, if you are happy in your language, if you express your feelings in your language, there's no way that you will feel special to you in any circumstance. So once it feels special to you in expressing yourself, it means that you don't use it. And if you don't use it, you want to lose it.
Listen, it would actually be special to me because even though I was not raised with it, as most of the current generation are going through the same trend, you're not being raised with your local dialect.
Yeah.
It's when you discover that, I can actually express myself in my local dialect, then you get to appreciate the essence, the importance of your the tongue that you're speaking.
Yeah.
You get to feel proud that now we have Chi featuring on Google languages. We have Hausa, we have Ewe, we have a whole lot. The northern dialects, we've got about 5 or so featuring on it. And it's quite an improvement. And that goes to state why I'm very confident that our culture is not going to die off anytime soon. Because I would say what we had 20 years back, okay, it was low. We had lots of people sporting foreign names, foreign traditions compared to now.
Okay.
If you would really do your research really well, you'll find out. Now, most people veer towards, yes, it could be, say, money and all of that, but people see the beauty in your culture, in your traditional practices, and then they opt for traditional wedding, and they opt for parties that feature traditional plays and shows in there. That makes it special, not because, yes, you may have abandoned it and we're now coming into terms with it, and it makes it special, but the main part of the special, the special essence is that I get to really express myself. There are some things English, French, and Spanish can define for you, but not the way you would understand it. Yes.
I think I agree with you on that particular tangent where you say that. So, for example, these days, even our weddings, you see our brides, and they're all in this nice traditional outfit. First, like you go back 10, 20 years ago, it was all like white and white gown, how you people call it. These days, you see the weddings, and the women are putting, even though they put those, what do you call it, they wear those shorts and they wear their skirts, their traditional skirts on it.
Yeah.
It looks very nice on them. Is in one way there's kind of acceptance, and we're not accepting some parts of it. Those are we should throw away. But for me, I still think it's not enough. Like, we're not doing our best enough. It's just right now that even the black skin is not even becoming popular. Just a few years ago, bleaching was all over the place. You had to look white or red to feel beautiful.
Which is fine. It will pass and go. You know, these things come. They're trends. They come, feature in for about the maximum time it will feature in is a year, and then it's gone.
Wow.
That is not the culture. That is a trend.
Let's hope that let's hope that it's really the way you see it, and then maybe more and more of young people will continue to embrace.
You know, I found out this article about the francophone people. I have friends, Ivorian friends. I have friends from Guinea, both Conakry and Bissau, and these people, they claim or they say that if you wear anything that is not sewn, like a cloth bead, African textile cloth, if it's not like that, they see you as a poor person. Can you imagine?
Everyone is always cheaper, so maybe it's true.
But we sit there, so we claim that we're millennials and we are adopting this foreign culture of wearing old folks and whatever ready to wear things. They actually see us as we are poor.
It's true. These days the traditional clothes are very expensive. Like, if you go and buy a small 350 or 400 Ghanaian cedi or 700 Ghanaian cedi.
So that makes it special. So you get the special I was talking about.
It means it's scarce. That's why. It means it's not in the system. It's scarce. It's a scarce commodity. The traditional clothes are scarce. So it's not part of us any longer.
It is not scarce. You remember when our current president began his campaign?
Have you seen President Nado wearing?
No. I'm saying when he began his campaign, he actually put a day out for African clothes. Something to wear to work. I think every Friday or
I'm sure for me
Friday.
The last time I remember Nana in traditional was the COVID and I had COVID addresses.
But okay, so you want the extreme of we bashing tradition, eating tradition, working tradition.
Yes.
But it cannot be like that.
Yes, that's what the whites are. Like, the whites do everything the way they have been doing it since 1,000 years ago.
What do you claim by the white? You should. What do you claim by white?
I mean, the West. If you go to Britain, you go to Germany.
America that you're terming as a white, or British that you're terming as a white, or France?
The whole of the West, the whole West, like the Western world, right? If you go to, for example, if you go to Asia, the East, if you see the way Chinese dress, you know, if a Chinese is walking, you say this is a Chinese person. Japanese, the way they dress, they are still intact. Really? You go to.
It is only those in the cities.
No, I mean, they still maintain their traditional values and practices. You go to Germany, for instance, it's like it's very traditional. Russia is very, very conservative, very traditional. You go to Britain, they even move from EU because they felt they were losing their own identity as British people. They are very, very traditional. Language, everything, their food, everything. Even what they wear, they had to just. They don't want like that kind of that thing. Even one of those what they wear, what they eat was all part of the Brexit issues. But you come to Africa and we are like just losing everything to everybody else and taking everybody else's idea. And I don't see why I don't agree with me.
You know, I think 2017 I did a course I had never done before. This secondary school course, government. I just decided to write the paper, and I met the teacher or the lecturer who took me in. He actually made me define. He helped me to define the way I see history and culture as a whole.
Okay.
So one thing, we were discussing something about the human sacrifice and the way we used to dress. Our forefathers used to dress back then, because at first you would see a woman with the breast bare, and just a cloth around her, but the breast is bare, and they're walking barefooted. And I'm like, I can never do this. Why would I do this? Why would they allow human sacrifice and all of that? Then what he asked me was, can I use current knowledge to judge someone back then? Is it, at that point, who is more stupid? Am I the one or my forefathers? Okay.
Yeah,
Then
what did you answer?
I had to sit down and really think about the question. Then I realized I'm being stupid. They knew what they had over there at that time was the best form for them, and they lived it. And then we have come into our acclaimed civilized world. Even this Britain and America that you claim in the West, they have their culture and they are true to their culture. It would amaze you that when you enter in there, you find so many discords, so many. The Native Americans wanting to do their own thing, even the individual states that make up the whole America wanting to propagate their whole agenda.
I really do not agree with that analogy that you gave, the example you gave and how it concluded. I don't know why, but I feel like if they knew what they had and they knew what they had to live with, okay, at that time, shouldn't we also know what we have and what we can live with, in the sense that if there's a change from what they used to have and what they live with, it means that change that we are now experiencing today it's actually a degradation of the standards that they used to have, in the sense that we are different from who we come from. We are different from our ancestors, our elders, our ancestors per se, right?
Of course, definitely.
Why are we different from them? If we are from them, if we are from their heritage, if they are our ancestors, how are we different from our ancestors? Because the more we are different from our ancestors, the more we become different from them, to a point that we are no longer like our ancestors in any way, and that means that we are no longer the Africans that we thought we should be. And that's why I've been saying that no, we look like we are losing it.
Okay. Would you say that you support feminism?
In what aspects of feminism are you?
In every aspect of feminism.
Oh, come on, even we have women chiefs in our traditional systems. In Ashanti, they have Queen Mother. See, one of the most powerful people in the Ashanti Kingdom is what? It's the Queen Mother.
I want you to understand.
In traditional culture, women are more richer than men. They've got used to travel far and do merchant businesses and stuff. So there's always feminism
just the way
in Africa.
We define it. And you just want to define the extreme part of tradition and culture and say that just because we're not wearing it every day, you're not speaking it. I get it that, yes, at some point it's deteriorated, because even the UN, when they set up the millennial goals, the SDG goals, I think the fourth one about education, when they came up with it, they cited that it had a lot of redundancies when you bring it to the African continent, because the education you want to give the African people, it is not to ascertain their belief, and Africans believe in their belief. They're like super strict with their belief. So if you bring in an education that does not support their belief, it's going to confuse the child, and at the end of the day, the child will come out from this
system,
this show, this education, this sector of life, and then the child will be lost. So they have to actually review it and then come up with measures on how to bring this millennial goals, the way they would teach it to children, the way they will, this idea of civilization, the way they will bring it out to these kids in school. And sometimes you have to also understand that it is not the people that are at fault. It is the one in charge of the people. Okay? So our parents who are in charge of us, our kings, our chiefs, our fathers, our presidents who are in charge of us, how many of them propagated the idea of nationalization, of traditional, that sort of identity?
That sort of traditional nationalism somewhere,
Exactly. Very few.
So
Very few of them did.
so it keeps deteriorating. Like we keep losing our culture because when we also come, we also want to forget about it. You still don't agree with me?
You cannot have it the way you want it. However, you can do something about the way it is.
So just before we wrap up, what do you think we can do about it shortly? Before we wrap up, we're almost out of time here.
Well, I believe that we're going the right way. That's me, what I think.
Okay.
I don't think we can build a country that is so focused on itself and rejects the outside world. We need to be open to the outside world, but then stay true to our culture.
Okay.
Yes, there are a few people who may come up and want to adopt foreign identity and all of that. It's fine. They have the liberty and the right to do that. But then the main thing is we knowing that this is what we stand for. And I believe in it. I'm a firm believer in that in that idea or the whole agenda.
I think
I don't know for you, but
no, I think I agree with you on that in the aspect of we cannot just close ourselves and not take from other places to help ourselves progress in the kind of system that we're in the world. But it's also very, very important to stress the fact that we have to stay true to our culture, and that's where I think there's a fault in. We have to admit that we should stay true to our culture, then we should add other people on to ours, and that way it works very fine. I think I also agree with that agenda, but we differ in the level of deterioration. Maybe we think that we are doing good, I think we are doing bad, but it's all the same. It's all part of the conversation. Yeah, I think it's good. It's good to have you here. This is where time will permit us. Thank you so much, Selina, for sharing your thought with us.
thank you too. Thank you for having me.
Hopefully we'll see you in the studio in the next episode, so that we can have this live face-to-face discussion and be able to have more conversations on what bothers us as young people. Thank you so much for your time and for your insight, Selina.
Thank you too.
Yeah. This we have been speaking with Selina on youth and culture, and this is where we wrap up our conversation live on Ghana Talks Radio. My name has been Lansah Lawrence, and I've been here held down by DJ Coverage. This show and all our other shows are live on our website, the GTR Radio and the GTR TV. You can watch and play and listen back on all our shows. So just visit www.ghanatalksradio.com. You can also download our app to have full access to all our shows, our updates, news, our entertainment, and streams on the app. Visit all the app stores that you know: Amazon, iPhone, Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery. Let's continue to have the conversations that matter to us. My name has been Lansah Lawrence, and this has been a Cubicle. I want to see at this point that more prayers to our brother Christian Achu, because this is a very, 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 very sad situation. But we believe in God's grace. Tomorrow we come out with another edition. Stay, enjoy music from DJ Kobe Rich. Until then, bye bye.